Zeal Education Society, redefining excellence.
Hello everyone, I am Mr. J. Shanavkar, Assistant Professor at Department of Civil Engineering of Zeal College of Engineering and Research, Pune. Today we are going to learn about the important building component, that is building foundation. In the earlier video, you might have seen that different types of structure, that is load bearing structure and frame structure, how they are going to differ, and different building component, that is superstructure, substructure and plinth. So every building or every structure is being distributed or is having the three major elements, that is substructure, superstructure and connect into it, that is plinth. The substructure is the part which is beneath the earth surface, whereas superstructure which is above the ground level. The superstructure consists the masonry part, windows, doors, flooring, all these comes under the superstructure. Beams, columns, roof, everything which is above the ground level, all these comes under the superstructure, whereas the substructure is nothing but which is beneath the ground, and that is why it is a foundation on which the entire structure is based on. The part connecting this superstructure to substructure is plinth. In the earlier session, we had discussed the role of plinth, why it is important, what is the significance of plinth. In today's video, we are going to learn about the definition of foundation, different types of foundation, its role, etc. Basically, the foundation transfers the load of superstructure through plinth to the earth. So, as shown here, the entire load comes from the superstructure. It is being transferred through the wall, then to the foundation and to the earth. So this is the typical arrangement, typical load transformation of the structure to the ground. So coming to the definition of foundation, it is the structural part on which the building stands. Indirectly, it is a bottommost portion of building or any structure which supports. It is a part which is responsible to transmit the load to the ground, and for these it is a lowermost load bearing part. While discussing the function of foundation, these are the major functions of any foundation. An important part, important function, important role is to distribute the load. So as shown in the earlier diagram, more the area available you may get, the more the load distributed over the larger area. So as compared to, if you observe the wall thickness, so here the wall thickness is maybe 9 inches or maybe 25 inches, but the wall footing is comparatively broader. What is the role? Why it is essential to make the foundation such a broader way? Because it will provide the maximum area to distribute the load, and that is why the more load will be transferred to the earth. The another function is the reduction of load intensity. Definitely, more the air load, more the area available, definitely load intensity will be reduced. So as we know, the stress is nothing but P by A, that is load coming over to the area available. So more the area, less will be the stress. More the reduction of load intensity could be possible by providing such a broader foundation and sufficiently broad foundations. It also provides the safety against undermining. Undermining is nothing but when there could be the possibility of the mining activity beneath the earth's surface. So then also the foundation provides the proper stability to the structure. Lateral stability is one of the important role. The lateral stability is nothing but which is the perpendicular to the vertical load. So lateral stability is important with reference to when there is a wind load is more significant. In such circumstances, we must think about the lateral loading also. And last one is the protection against soil movements. Now, soil movements are possible in case of there could be the presence of the loose soils like black cotton soil or sand strata beneath the earth. Mostly in case of foundations, we normally prefer to go up to the hard rock or hard strata. But sometimes what happens due to at the time of core investigation or geological investigation, some strata are get neglected, and these could be result for the future failure of foundation. So the soil movement in case of heavy monsoon, in case of a heavy monsoon area, excess rainfall, in such cases, in such circumstances, the soil may drain off and the soil movement may take place. Now, under such circumstances also, your foundation must sustain against the or must provide the proper support to the structure. So, these are the important functions of foundation. Now, in case of settlement, why it is essential? Now, settlement is nothing, it could be even or uneven. Now, even settlement is somehow, or we can say it is somehow tolerable because entire structure is getting sunk down. So there is no any foundation. You may not get any indications like cracks, or it is somehow safe against the joints of column to beams like that. But in case of non-uniform loading, the superstructure evenly must be distributed, or the load coming from the superstructure must be evenly distributed or transferred to the subsoil. Now, even distribution is, though it is not that much of harmful, but must be restricted. Now, larger area is very good to distribute the more load for to the soil, and that is nothing but which is measured in terms of safe bearing capacity of the soil, SBC. We call it as a SBC. So safe bearing capacity of the soil is nothing but the maximum load it can sustain, or maximum loading against which it can sustain. That is the safe bearing capacity of soil. Unless otherwise it will rupture. That is the indication of, or that could result in the failure of foundation. Along with this load distribution and uniform or uneven settlement restriction, the foundation also provides a good anchorage to the entire structure. Now, in case of anchoring is nothing but it provides a proper bonding between the earth surface or earth or ground and entire structure, so that there will be no any possibility of overturning of structure. When the special foundations are there, means for example certain foundation which meant for the specific soil type, in such circumstances we need to provide the special foundations, and these foundations could be or must be able to resist a different kind of loadings. The foundation, including the underlying soil and rock, must safe against structural failure. Structural failure means maybe the cracks, or structural failures maybe due to the any impact, uneven settlement. All these must be sustained. Under any circumstances, the foundation must not settle down. It definitely damages your structure. Must be feasible both technically and economically. Means when you are thinking about the more safe or most safe structure or most safe foundation, you must be aware about the fund availability, what is the budget of occupant, etc. And so that it should not affect adversely on the surrounding property. Means for example, while foundation you may need some blasting, so these kind of blast should not be affect to the adjoining property. So also these kind of precaution one must. It is expected that all foundation can settle down up to very minute extent. It is acceptable, but even settlement, that also even settlement. The foundation on bedrock settle a negligible amount. Bedrock is nothing but up to which it is a very common practice That is, we are going to excavate for foundation up to the hard rock. Now that hard rock must have ability to sustain all the load coming over there, and after that also, if there is a possibility of settlement, this settlement must be a very negligible. Sometimes the foundation in clay, some foundation at loose soil or on sand rock may settle, but there must be some accountability of this kind of settlement. Foundation settlement in most building is measured in mm or fraction of an inch. So it is you can have an idea that it is a very minute settlement is only acceptable. Most foundation failures are attributable to excessive differential settlement. So in this particular video we have learned the definition of foundation and its role of foundation. In next video we will again meet with the types of foundation and their subtypes. Thank you for this.
Zeal Education Society, redefining excellence.